direction of there we go. There it is. A recording is being made at the direction of the board and that the recording may capture sounds of those attending the meeting. I see that all trustees are here other than trustee Perfetta, and she texted us and said she's running a few minutes late just before the meeting. So we can begin. We're going to start with item 3, the approval of the agenda. If there's any member of the public online who would like to speak on this item, which is solely about the agenda, please hand a blue card or use the raise hand feature on.
None.
Okay. Seeing none, board, I'm going to ask that we approve the agenda with 2 modifications. One, to add an item under reports, again, 9F, comments from the Sunnyvale Education Foundation. And additionally, so that I don't have to deal with numbering, to add a number 9.5, because this agenda also left off public comment because initially it was posted as a governance meeting. And
It's a special board meeting, so special board meetings do not have a separate public comment section. Only the items on the agenda that are spoken on.
is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, it's not a regularly scheduled.
Okay, all right, so then let's just go ahead and add 9F, if that's okay, if we can modify it to re-add 9F. Is there a motion to approve the agenda with an addition of 9F or without it?
I move to approve the agenda with 9F included.
Is there a second?
A second.
Great. Discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Great, chair votes aye and the motion passes. Right now we're on item 4, public comment for closed session. Tonight's topic is public employee performance evaluation, Government Code 54957, Superintendent. If there's any member of the public who wishes to comment on closed session, please use the raise hand feature.
None.
Okay, seeing none, it is 6:04 p.m. We will recess for a closed session. We will take a 5-minute break after the closed session and we'll return to the boardroom at or about 6:30. Thank you. You made it.
Perfect. Yeah.
Perfect timing. That's, well, pretty
We're just
close.
heading into closed session.
Pretty close.
If this is still about right, they can tell them, and
Hello, Trustee Pretzler.
Hi, how are you?
Nice to see you.
Oh, nice to see you.
I have to go log into my computer because I arrived like right at 6 o'clock and just zip in. Michelle, nice to see you. Happy birthday.
Wednesday.
Don't do that, I'm already off enough. I'm good, how are you? I was ecstatic that it's only Wednesday.
So I realized it's Friday.
Usually it's the opposite, but. It's a cozy cardigan, like we're all wearing cozy jackets kind of day.
In here
That's
instead of
what
going
I did
out
today, so-
for meetings, I'm supposed to ask for a Chromebook because I never can stay logged in.
I just hotspot tweets
Sorry.
Look into that.
I mean, I think
Now that I'm aware of it. All good, all good.
I can just borrow one of these maybe when I come. It's
Yeah,
not a big
like,
deal.
I'm
This
thinking
is actually
actually we
much
probably
nicer.
just take this. We can take them home. Can we take them home?
The Chromebooks?
Yeah.
I believe so. I think Jesus likes to keep them just in case.
Oh, okay,
Do you
okay.
want to take them home?
Well, if I'm gonna do board stuff, I could do it all on here and then not on my personal stuff.
So I would suggest
Go with it.
we could do a device that they get to take home.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
they can have a separate one or an
Yeah.
iPad.
You can go ahead.
Okay.
But the one they use here would stay here.
Okay, I can just keep using this. Is this okay? Like,
More than
or is it?
usual, but.
No, I think that's fine, but I think he would like to systemize that.
I hear
so
you,
I'll
I
put
hear
it-
you,
Yeah.
but I don't need a separate device. Please don't get me another device.
Yeah, I'm okay too.
Yeah, I'm good.
I don't know.
I'll just,
Please don't do that.
5 iPads.
Please don't do that, no, no.
I'd just like to borrow one.
Spend the money on the kids.
I'll put something together, don't worry. I hear what you're, no,
Okay, not like in that way, right?
exactly.
Okay, thank you.
I'll look at it. Thank you.
The red.
Thank you.
Yeah, all the things.
Okay,
All of us, I mean.
all right. Oh, right, Michelle's almost here.
Grab it.
Here.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Next one?
Oh, okay.
That sounds.
I'm good.
Appreciation event.
So many security questions. Okay, great. All right, it is now, okay, it is now 6:41 and PM, and we will I'm reconvening this regular board meeting of the Board of Education. All members are present. No action was taken. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Or would anyone like to read number 8, the Living Land Acknowledgements? I didn't ask anyone before. Okay, thank you.
San Francisco District is located on the ancestral and unceded land of Muwekma Ohlone tribe, who have peacefully honored and cared for this land for thousands of years. We recognize that every member of the Sunnyvale community continues to benefit from the use and occupation of this land. We acknowledge our responsibility to learn from the wisdom of the Ohlone people and to consider how we might work to repair injustices and to move forward in honorable ways.
Thank you. Okay, item 9 is reports. Tonight we don't have any student reports for coming next week or next time.
Yes, so the young lady.
Excellent. So now to item 9B, Superintendent's Report, Dr. Prestwig.
Thank you, President Watson. Good evening, everyone. I just want to start off by thanking everyone for their support of our inaugural State of the District. It was just an amazing opportunity to highlight our students. And they were really the star of the show. So thank you to everyone who came out to support. And I'm looking forward to continuing this annually. But again, it's also an opportunity for us to address some of the challenges that we have as an organization, which are not unique to Sunnyvale School District, and also to garner support because we cannot do this work alone. So again, just thank you to everyone who was able to attend yesterday's event and support as well. And then let's go on to the next slide. And so we want to also share with you an update regarding AI here in our school district. I'm going to pass it to Mr. Nishihara.
Thank you, Superintendent Crosby. Board of Education, it's my pleasure to give a brief update on our work in Sunnyvale of AI and where our theory of action is and how we're meeting the challenges and opportunities presented by AI that's facing public school districts and I guess let's face it, humanity. In alignment with our strategic plan, our foundational philosophy is a human-centric approach to the deployment of AI throughout the Sunnyvale School District. I think the best way to describe this is from a quote by a Stanford computer scientist and professor named Fei-Fei Li, who states, "I often tell my students not to be misled by the name artificial intelligence. There is nothing artificial about it. AI is made by humans, intended to behave by humans, and ultimately to impact humans' lives and human society." So we're taking an AI literacy and an AI readiness approach. So it's human-centric and AI literacy and AI readiness. So you're noticing that I'm not saying that we're launching that particular application at this time. We're really focusing on that human aspect. What do I mean by AI literacy? AI literacy is the collection of skills and knowledge a person needs to confidently understand, ethically use, and critically evaluate AI tools in the real world. And that forms the foundation into AI readiness, which is the ability and underlying skills to apply AI literacy to one's lives. An AI-ready person understands AI's impact and can leverage their human advantages, things like collaboration, creativity, self-advocacy, alongside with the evolving technology to reach their full potential. So you can see how there's many aspects that overlay with our strategic plan, with our core principles, the portrait of a learner, as well as the Sunnyvale Promise. So we've spent the last 14 months building this foundation. We've held workshops, a board presentation at the end of last spring for the board. We've connected with our employee associations, and our work has focused heavily on impacting our staffs because in Sunnyvale School District, given the age of our learners, we really want the adults in the system to be well primed in order to guide our youngest learners. I know that was a concern from the board from our board presentation. So I'm pleased to report that we have been building our foundation, required to move us into the AI readiness phase of our work. Next slide, please. So what is driving this AI readiness? It is our AI staff task force. So we've successfully selected 20 staff members from a highly competitive pool of 54 applicants. So if you keep that in mind, there's roughly 850 employees in the district. We had 54 people apply to even participate. So we're already 5% the way there, if my math is correct. I should have checked that number before that came out of my mouth. So, but this group is highly diverse with representation balanced across all grade levels, elementary and middle school, classified, certificated, and management staff representation, and then also a range of current understanding of AI fundamentals. So there really is 5 variables that we tried to pull together. So with only 20 members, we did a pretty good job of spreading across all of those categories for this task force. The task force is charged to develop recommendations for implementation and integration and guiding our AI initiatives. Key deliverables of the task force include exploration of AI tools for staff, deploying AI tools at scale to staff that impact student achievement, creating recommendations of acceptable use guidelines and policies to bring back to the board for the discussion in the winter and spring of this year. I'm excited to share that we held our first in-person task force meeting a couple of weeks ago. The group is already engaged identifying adult-focused use cases with Google Gemini, which is our secure embedded LLM tool, centered on productivity and creative uses by staff, and we'll be holding our second meeting on October 22nd. At 4 o'clock, so please come in and join us and see the great work that's happening. Next slide, please. And then partnering for acceleration, this challenges that I talked about is daunting for any system, even for a medium-sized district like ourselves. So we have found several partners to help us with this work. I know all of you would like me to be able to tell you what the answers are about AI and where we're going and what it's going to look like, but I cannot. It's going to take all of us to define this new tool and this new reality. But again, tonight is a glimpse into our approach. But luckily, to help us figure this problem out, we're leveraging several key partners. The first is a familiar partner that we presented with last year. It's called AI EDU. They are a nonprofit devoted to ensuring all students are ready to live, work, and thrive in an AI-driven world. And they are helping us advance our AI literacy and readiness framework across our system. They do have an AI framework for staff and students that we're embedding with our strategic plan, so we're not having to reinvent the wheel. Play Labs is another nonprofit focused on creating a future where educators and students have agency to not just use AI, but to shape it. It is a closed platform that's open-ended, and so this MOU is actually on approval for tonight. So they are another great partner. There was a question that you might be wondering, are they related or similar, or what is the difference between those two organizations? They are two separate organizations, and the way I've made meaning of this is AI EDU kind of operates at this higher level because they're working nationwide and trying to influence policy at the governmental levels. And working with partners across the way, community-based organizations as well. Play Labs is another nonprofit, but it's actually a tool that's open-ended and is allowing staff and eventually students to empower to be able to use AI as a productive tool to enrich their lives. So they complement each other at two different levels of scale. Interestingly enough, I was talking to the superintendent that they've actually been kind of introduced to each other, I want to say because of us, but that simultaneously with us bringing those two partners in, they are now working together kind of at that other level as well. So we were again kind of on the front cutting edge of that, so that was fantastic to see. Last but not least is Digital Promise. As you heard from the announcement, we are now part of the League of Innovative Schools into a couple of the learning collaboratives. One that interests me, I guess specifically, is the AI Literacy Learning Collaborative, and this is designed to help K-12 districts leaders navigate this rapidly evolving world of artificial intelligence, and it's basically pulling together a cohort and cadre to be able to learn from each other and form that will empower the districts to understand, evaluate, and ethically apply AI tools. So we plan to use our partnership in digital literacy, the Digital Promise League of Innovative Schools is to take the work that we're using here, again, the AI EDU framework, our strategic plan, the Play Lab exploration, and Google Gemini, and I want to use the work within the collaborative and to see how do we scale this to all 850 employees, bring our parent and guardian up to speed about what it is, how to utilize it, and hopefully again be able to maybe leverage it in their own personal lives. And last but not least, be arming our students for the next wave of what's coming so they understand what AI is and how to use it as a tool and not be used by it. So again, in summary, we've established a strong foundation of AI literacy, and we are now moving into the AI readiness phase of our operations. So more information is to come, and that's just a quick glimpse of what we're doing.
Clarifying question, so if you invited us to come and check something out, will you be following up with a?
Yeah, I'll continue to put that information into the weekly, just exactly when it is. You can please join us and be the fly on the wall and maybe pulled in to participate.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, and let's go to the next slide, please. The other thing I want to just let you know is on tonight's agenda for item 11E, there's a item for your consideration for us to potentially expand our after-school programs across the district. It would give us an opportunity to partner up with Think Together. We did speak with the Y as well as Think Together to explore this option. And so if you look, I'm not going to read all the bullets to you, but if you look at the second to the last bullet, it's a potential pilot on a sliding scale to be able to expand services for up to 200 additional students. And if approved tonight, Think Together will begin recruiting staff and engaging in the community in conversations about what this potentially could look like. They do already have partnerships in San Jose Unified, and Mipita School District actually uses them with the sliding scale to support their after-school programs. Let's go next slide. And And so again, there's a lot of benefits, but one of the major things that I keep hearing from families is just how challenging it is to provide after-school programs and the limited options that are available, not only within our schools, but also within the community. And just it's cost prohibitive for a lot of families to pay up to $1,000 a month per child. So if you can imagine, you have 2 or 3 children at different ages, different schools, it could be quite a challenge. So just some other potential benefits for families. And then, next slide, please. And then the other item that's up for consideration for tonight is item 11D, approval of contract with Orenda Education. So as superintendent, I'm recommending that we partner with Orenda to go into a deeper dive in terms of our instructional and organizational systems, to look at any disparities systemically, but at the same time, how do we continue building capacity across the organizations with our site and district administrators in terms of proper use of data, next steps in terms of looking at our systems, including our master schedule, course of study. Let's go to the next slide. And again, it's outside eyes coming in, giving us additional feedback in terms of some recommended steps. I did invite 8 out of 9 principals to attend some of these events for them to get firsthand experience about what this potentially could look like for Sunnyvale School District. We did have 4 of the principals that were able to attend, as well as an assistant principal. So the 10 schools, we had representation from 5 of our schools with Orenda events, and they are also working with some of the neighboring districts here in the Bay Area. But it's another opportunity for us to, again, look in the mirror, reflect on our current systems, and ask ourselves, what else can we do to make a bigger impact to support our students, and at the same time build up our capacity across the organization. And then lastly, I apologize, I take responsibility for this, but I want to make sure I do this right. Is on tonight's agenda, we were supposed to do a data presentation. I didn't include it when we posted the agenda, and I'll take responsibility for that. But moving forward, I want to make sure, because I heard some of our families yesterday who mentioned to me, hey, the wasn't posted. So I want to make sure that we do it right and post our data presentation in advance for the public so that they can be engaged in those conversations as well. So thank you for your patience on learning, and thank you in advance. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. So we'll go to item 9C, which is board members report. We can start with trustee Perfetta. Would you like to start tonight?
I'll start with today. So I went to school sites with Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy, for that. That was fun. But I had to leave home my sick 5th grader, and my college student had to skip class to take care of her, so that was nice of her. And my 5th grader missed her speech for the campaign for her student council, but her teacher was able to read her speech, so that was good. And then I was late coming here because I had to find someone to come home to watch her because she's sick and make dinner and all that stuff. But also I enjoyed yesterday's State of the District. That was really fun, and it was really nice to see everyone, and I'm glad that I was there for the first one, and I can't wait for the next one. We had our Fairwood Alliance board meeting yesterday. A couple weeks ago, superintendent brought me to Cherry Chase in Cumberland for a school site visit. That was a good one. And I also did my ethics training. I just need to print out. And for Fairwood, I've just been busy working on getting silent auction donations for our holiday craft fair next month.
I think for the ethics training, I think you can just email that to Dr. Crosthwaite and PCs, and they can file it.
Yep.
They just need it. So you just email it to them.
Oh.
Great job.
Well, actually I don't have much to report. I will be sending my activities to the schools later, and I really enjoyed yesterday's State of the District. It was very nice. I didn't know we had a comedy group. That was awesome. And it was a very happy celebration. So I'm glad. Thank you.
So the only comment I was gonna make is also about the state of the district yesterday. I just wanna thank everyone. There was lots of people involved with it to make it a success, so I just appreciate everyone who came, but also especially everyone who participated to help make it a great event.
So it's been about a month, it's been a very busy month. Something that I really want to highlight this time around is we had our parent-teacher conferences, and I really want to call out like the love and support that when I met with my daughter's teacher, she's a first year teacher and she had these amazing slides of like, oh, what are the diagraphs Andy cannot pronounce yet, or like what are these made up words that she's not able to just say? And like there isn't this interactive slide, and it was just so informative, and it was clear that both her and then my son's teacher just like really do know my kids, like, and by name, strength, need, right? Which was really lovely, and I want to just honor our teachers here. Something that I am also hearing from teachers is that it's a lot, there's a lot of stress in the system from the teachers, and it feels like they're not supported in the ways that they feel like they need to be in order to be successful, and also feel like they're not in a position where they can ask for help and support in a way that's not going to be like counted against them. And so I've been hearing that repeatedly as well. So like both honoring that we have amazing educators, but also making sure that we have systems that can support them. That is a constant theme. I attended the bullying prevention seminar from Project Cornerstone, and it was really great. And they have a lot of other workshops that I think we already paid for and we could also use. But there's a lot of trauma in the system in terms of like parents as well, in terms of like bullying behaviors, and this is something I'm hearing from a lot of different angles in the district. Is just these type of behaviors that impact the school experience. And so it's made me think about how we can be supportive of behavior as well, for like, I think maybe supporting the adults in the system so that we can be supportive of the students and not being punitive with behavior is just kind of a common theme that I've been hearing, supportive and not just punishing. I attended my first ever science camp information night, and it's in person at Bishop, which is really awesome. We are the first school to go for the whole district. That is on the week of December 8th. There is a bit of an issue where we don't actually have high school counselors enough. And it seems like all the high schoolers are like taking finals at that time. So if anybody listening knows of high schoolers that might be able to attend and support in this way, I'd really like to make sure that our December 8th, the week of December 8th. And the other thing regarding the science camp is that it's a real opportunity for our students to really socialize and get to know each other. And so I know that Fairwood and Lakewood both feed into Columbia Middle School, and they go together, and that's like a really amazing, lovely community, and those teachers are really tight with each other. And so I think it would be really great if we were more intentional. Like Bishop never goes with Bishop, as far as I know, has never gone with another Sunnyvale School District school, but we could go with like San Miguel, for example, feed into Columbia, Gardner's Cumberland, go together, so there are Cherry Chase and Ellis, or Cherry, anyway, you get the point. I think there's some great opportunities, and that would be supportive of our students as well. And just finally, coming back to the state of the district, I felt like that was just like such a wonderful event. It was student-centered. I heard from a lot of the community members that it felt very honest and real, and not just fluff. And something that really stood out, my friend told me, I really like how Dr. Crossway said that, we know the what, we know the why, and now this is the how, and we're gonna go with the how, and this is something that together as a community we can do together. So again, feeling a lot of hope and optimism and opportunity here. Thank you.
Okay, I will also send my activities in. I did want to mention that there's a lot of things going on with our Heritage Months this month. So today's the last day of Hispanic Heritage Month, September 15th to October 15th. It's also LGBTQIA+ History Month. And I was so excited that I saw on social media that we showed that we were raising the flag for National Coming Out Day on October 11th. We have raised the flag at the district office before, but this way it was just felt more public and more affirming, so I really appreciated that. October 13th was Indigenous Peoples Day. I was trying to explain that to my high school district adult school class. They had questions. So it was an interesting conversation. And also October is Hindu Heritage Month and Filipino American Heritage Month. And on our website, there are active links from our teaching and learning and library, the library for if you want to do activities at home or for our teachers, about the history of those months and about, different books to read and ways to celebrate. So I thought that was interesting. Just a couple things to note. Peggy and I, our trustee Shen Brewster and I both went to the health and wellness meeting in different ways, virtually and in person. But the news, just because when I send my activities in, I don't know if you actually ever read them. So this is a little different. I'm just trying to report out. So there is going to be a walk and roll tally of how people get to school. Again, this at the end of the month. And this is one of those things where public safety took over. It's part of the Safe Routes to School. And so what they do is once a year, they send out the survey. And there's some incentives for walking, and some schools take it farther. I mentioned that they said, well, there are kids riding the bus. This year, one of the things I'm really proud of from that state of the city is that 3 years ago, we didn't have a home to school transportation system, and now we have 700 students riding the bus. So they will be included in the incentives because they are carpooling in their own way by riding the bus. And the group is also bringing to all the schools Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day, which is November 14th. And the Ruby Bridges Foundation supplies incentives for that. And the idea at the committee, a lot of the partners that used to come to the committee meetings no longer come because their funding has either dried up or has just diminished and they're gone, or they've diminished in such a way that they have less schools and districts that they can go to. So for example, there was a group that came in and did the hula hoop contest every year at every school, and the people who ran that are gone. 5210, that program is no longer being promoted at all of our schools. Those are things that we could pick up internally, but other things we can pick up a little easier, like a play day using Playworks. But one of the things that the committee was talking about was trying to find something at each of their quarterly meetings to support like a wellness activity they could bring back to their school sites, or a physical activity like a game or something. So at the next meeting, we'll have some more that'll be happening throughout the year, and they're gonna ask public safety about bike rodeos and some other things that they've done in the past, but public safety has said they explicitly wanna be invited to campuses. They don't wanna just show up. They don't want anyone to be uncomfortable. And then they are gonna do a staff incentive thing that's very similar to coincide, like the first one will be match up with what Kaiser does. So it will be an incentive program for staff to work on it as a team and get their steps in. And then I had asked, and we're gonna get more information about, in Cambrian School District, Ida Price Middle School does a mental health and awareness week. And as part of it, they do a fundraiser for a suicide prevention organization called NAMI. And the most of who attends, there's a couple of teachers, but it's a fair amount of the PE coaches, and they're a little nervous about touching on the topic of teen suicide. However, I think that the Cambrian School District's been doing this for a number of years, and they're getting reports back from the high school district that the students who are freshmen that are coming from their middle schools are much more comfortable with finding help for a friend who might be going through something, and understanding that support is out there, and it's even socializing mental health support for the parents. So we're gonna have them give a little show and tell about what they're doing in that district to see if we can bring it here. And then the other thing I just wanted to highlight was to save the date for the Success Symposium through the Santa Clara County School Boards Association. You know, even with declining enrollment countywide, the student homelessness, McKinney-Vento students, that number, students experiencing homelessness, that number is rising. So last year it was around 7,000, this year it's around 8,000. And so for districts that are really heavily impacted, like Morgan Hill, they have declining enrollment. They used to have 9% of their student body was unhoused, now it's at 11%. Like, it's just because their numbers are going the wrong way. So this is gonna be for trustees and superintendents, school staff is invited, and then there are also gonna be some providers there, and it's a deep dive and talking about de-siloing. So I hope people can attend. It will be November 15th, 8:30 to 12 p.m. It's $10, there's waivers available. And so if you're an advocate or you really care or wanna learn about what's going on with student homelessness, you can go there too. And then I'll send in my other activities for the minutes, so thanks for your patience. Okay, so we are on to item, gosh, it's so many things there, 90, which is the Sunnyvale Education Association. Do we have an official representative online who'd like to speak? Okay, not at this time. 9E is the California School Employees Association. If there's an official representative online, please use the raised hand feature if you wish to speak.
No.
Nope. Okay, and we did add item 9F, which is for the Sunnyvale Education Foundation. I see someone here. Welcome, President Eugene.
Thank you. 9F has a nice ring to it. First, I want to thank you. I'm Michelle Eugenie, President of the Sunnyvale Education Foundation. First, I want to thank you, all of you, and the organizers behind the scenes, the people behind the curtain, so to speak, for including Seth in the State of the District event yesterday. As was already mentioned, it was such a fantastic event, but it was for us, for our community. It was such a wonderful opportunity to share and connect with the community. I can't tell you how many people came up to me afterwards, seeking to be introduced to talk, folks that I've crossed paths with in other settings, and that didn't occur. So thank you. That really was a fantastic opportunity for us to engage all of our community. I'd like to invite you all. We have our own events. Well, it's going to be in this room, so it's in partnership with the Sunnyvale School District, but I want to invite you and the public listening to a roundtable event that Seth is hosting in partnership with the district. The theme is Beyond the Classroom, the Magic of Gardens, Field Trips, and Touching Grass. If you haven't touched grass lately, go do it. It sparks something in the brain that feels good. And with this recent rain, it's fresh, it's beautiful. And students should have that joy as well. So join us, it's October 28th, right here in this room, starting at 5:30 p.m. And we're gonna hear from some experienced program providers. We're gonna share ideas and insights, and more people listening, sharing, hearing things, asking questions makes for a livelier discussion. So help us spread the word. We appreciate that. It is posted on our Facebook as an event. All right, and then one other thing that's recently happened we wanted you to be aware of is that we're proud to be looking further into Science Camp, and we love the collaboration with the district, including the commitment to sending all fifth graders to Science Camp without requiring individual fundraising. This approach has removed a major barrier to participation. However, we became aware, which is one of our special talents, sort of having eyes and ears and hearing things that are happening and asking questions in order to find creative solutions together. But we were hearing that there's still a challenge out there to participation, and that is the struggle to provide supplies needed for several nights at sleepaway camp. Things like sleeping bags, warm jackets appropriate for being out on those night hikes, and some things like soap. If you live in a house of, a bunch of people and you're all sharing the big bottle of soap, well, what do you take when you go to camp? You're not taking that big bottle of soap, right? And these are just very practical little things that we heard from teachers and outreach coordinators and individuals at the schools. In fact, in order to understand more about this, we surveyed fifth grade classroom and SDC teachers. We also included administrators and the outreach coordinators, and we were really pleased to get more than 50% of those who we reached out to responded. We also heard from every elementary school about their needs. They shared things that we kind of predicted, but they also shared some things we hadn't thought about. And the incredible responses indicated a clear and urgent need. Responses helped us identify the most critical ones. So based on those results, we have approved $2,000 internally from our special projects fund, which we're going to use for an initial purchase of items that will be available to schools to distribute to students and families who struggle to provide science camp supplies, starting with Bishop. And this is an opportunity that we've been exploring. Thank you to Jeremy as our district liaison and thinking through logistics. If you don't know, we have a storage area over there in the Adair room where we store some of our event supplies, sensory tent, and so on. And that'll be also where we store these science camp materials, check them in and out. So we're going to be working on that and growing that, but we think it's a really awesome opportunity. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. And then last but not least, I come tonight with a donation. Money's always good. I said it over there in Arthur's place, but Arthur's invisible tonight. So I'll get that back to whomever accepts a check. And that is the second of our third rounds of our fall school grants. I see you over there grabbing that check. Thank you. This is in support of enrichment programs at 4 school sites this particular round. That's Bishop, Cumberland, Vargas, and Columbia Middle School. This is part of our more than $100,000 for the 10 schools this fall. That is part of what we call school grants. There will also be, in the future, I'll be bringing you news of a special project for this year for which we will be accepting requests mid-year. So more money to come. Just wanted to drop off a check, tell you about those great opportunities. Thank you. And
Can we do that? Picture here?
you could, but I have a meeting at 7:30. Could we do it now?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Good thing I changed out of my garden clothes. It's been 4 outfits today.
Michelle's right there.
Yeah, we're twinners today.
I know, well, we've talked about it, just one of those like,
Jeremy's gonna do it.
yeah, one of those big checks.
We get everybody around.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are all wearing cozy
Would it be
sweaters. I'm
better
so
to not have
jealous.
the two green
Swing it.
Yeah,
shirts?
no.
Good
Oh,
friends.
no, it's all right.
Okay.
Good friends. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michelle.
And I'm sorry to the translator who, I was talking fast. I'll endeavor to go slower next time.
Thank you. That's great. All right, thank you. So we are on to number 10, which is the consent agenda items. Any item on the consent agenda is subject to review and discussion prior to being approved by the board. If necessary, any items may be removed for separate action. The public may address the board regarding any items on the consent agenda. Is there any member of the public here who wishes to make a comment on the consent agenda? If there's someone online who'd like to make a comment on the consent agenda, please use the raised hand feature.
None.
Okay, seeing none, board, we need a motion? Or would anyone from the board like to pull anything, or would you like to make a motion?
I move approval of the consent agenda as listed.
I second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the consent agenda passes. Great, there were lots of things on the consent agenda, so we're on to item 11, which is action items. The first one is item 11A, approval of resolution 2610, support of measure A. Dr. Crosthwaite.
So this item here is a resolution for your consideration, given the challenges that are happening across the country and impacting here in Santa Clara County as well. This is a resolution that would provide support for Measure A to increase a 0.6 to institute a 5/8 of a 1 cent 5-year tax to preserve critical county services, specifically access to healthcare, emergency response, and behavioral supports. We know that our families are struggling, and particularly our most vulnerable families, but this obviously impacts everyone as well.
Okay, first it's time for public comment. If there's any member of the public who would like to speak on this item, please use the raised hand feature.
None?
Okay, seeing none. We're reading a motion.
I move we approve resolution 2610 in the matter of resolution in support of Santa Clara County Measure A.
I said that.
Thanks. Board members, any discussion? Michelle? Trustee Measure.
So I just wanted to share, similar to last meeting with Prop 50. I don't think this is in our purview, and I don't think this is something that we should be weighing in on.
Okay, well, I do know that, anyone else, I can share, Isabel and I can share that we had some discussion at the Santa Clara County School Boards Association Legislative Action Committee. And there was a trustee there from Gilroy. We can share a little bit about that deliberation. That would be helpful.
You wanna share also about we also put out a measure for approval for the LAC.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like we discussed it at the LAC and the Santa Clara County School Boards Association, the Legislative Action Committee weighed in on it because it meets the priorities, and I really believe that it's the legislative priorities of our district as well. We get $500,000 from the county, and so even though Measure A is mostly earmarked for hospitals and healthcare, and they will lose the only emergency room in South County if they don't get Measure A. It's also, that funding is also some of the funding that is earmarked for schools and the behavioral health in schools. So like we get $500,000, almost every district in the county gets some money from the county for, like it says in here, this is for our behavioral health grant. And mental health is just such an important thing for all of our students right now. So I think it actually does directly impact our school district. And also, we're trying to remove barriers to learning. And one of the things that we talked about in the Legislative Action Committee meeting, at least, was that, our most socioeconomically disadvantaged students, most underserved students, are the ones who are going to be the most impacted by the cuts. So we can state that we as a body support it and call for it, but we're not asking people to directly vote for it. So it's a little different. We're not telling people to vote for it, right? We're just endorsing it ourselves. Is that correct?
That's correct. You're just encouraging people to go out and vote, but not necessarily to vote for or against it.
And all of the whereases here are really talking about the basic, how it would directly affect our students. So, I don't know, Isabel, do you want to add anything from the discussions?
No, just that we had that meeting with Supervisor Ellenberg. Whereas we discussed about how this directly affect our districts and how important it was. Hence, we decided to put out our own solution.
I just want to share two quick thoughts, and then I don't really want to spend a long 10 minutes because I think
Sure.
we're just going to go different, and that's totally fine. But two things I do want to, and I just want to share, like, personally, I am currently planning to support Measure A, right? So similar to the other one, I just don't think it's in our space. Measure A, I want to correct something you said. Measure A is not earmarked for anything, so people are saying what they want to spend it on, but it's actually totally open. The county can use the money however they want, and there's like a max amount of money that's like that can be used until the county is using the rest of that money. So I just want to like clear that up, that it's not actually, they're advertising it as it's going to a certain area. It could be, but it's actually allowed to go anywhere. And then also, from my understanding, the $500,000 that we get that like comes from the county, it's actually not, it's from a state thing, and so it actually, that money is not affected by federal. So again, I think we should just vote on it. I don't really want a long discussion. I just want to clarify those two things.
So I think when there are threats to social services like we see federally now, and we see that there will be an impact for us locally, and we think about our responsibility as a school district to care for, so basic care, which is something that we highlighted in the state of the district, for our students. I do feel like we have a responsibility here to support this for the county as well, in support of all the schools in the county, and frankly, in terms of like defending our democracy, this is something I feel strongly about. And if there are threats to funding, if there are threats to what we have committed ourselves to do in terms of providing public education to all students, regardless of who, where, what they bring to the table or not, where they come from. I do think it's something that we need to support fervently, and I will vote yes.
I do want to acknowledge that I was not aware about the state funding mechanism for the grant, but I would like to say that the county the county has leaned in pretty hard about mental health in general. They're a little even oversubscribed on behavioral health because they invested so heavily, and they're basically being penalized for having created such a wide support network. But we do have some significant needs in our area. And when we go, even as individual trustees, and we meet with Supervisor Lee, or we go meet with Supervisor Ellenberg, or any of the other people who either represent us or who have like children and families committees and things like that, we're asking them to like, hey, help us support our underserved families. Like, we're supporting them at school, you need to support them in your lane. And so I think this is just one of those situations where we can stand with them, just like we would hope they would stand with us, to meet the needs of these same families. So that's where I see the alignment. I see the alignment because we are constantly asking them to better support our schools, better support our families and our students. And, what can you do? So they're saying right now, we're gonna lose a whole bunch of funding. This is the only thing we can do. Will you stand with us? And so I'm willing to say we support the effort. I appreciate that they're doing something. They could just sit there and go, oh well, we lost the money, we can't do anything for you, and just start closing everything. And that would be a disaster for all the families who depend on the county for healthcare and other services. So, and even though it isn't earmarked for healthcare, that's probably what they see as the most urgent need. So, Evelyn, did you want to say anything? I want to make sure we get to you. Okay, well, why don't we vote, all those in favor?
Wait, sorry,
Oh,
just
sorry.
one more thing, I think this is a moment for unity and to stand in solidarity with our county and with our community partners, as like President Watson said, we would want others to do for us, and this is a moment to stand up, and I appreciate you bringing it to us, Dr. Crosby.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And all those against, please say nay.
Nay.
Okay, chair votes aye, the motion passes. Thank you. Okay, next item is item 11B, approval of membership in the Digital Promise League of Innovative Schools. Dr. Crossway.
Hi, so this is an opportunity for Sunnyvale School District to be able to join. Let me start that again. So this is an opportunity for Sunnyvale School District to join the League of Innovative Schools under Digital Promise. And as you heard a little bit from Mr. Nishihara earlier, the benefits include potential opportunities to network and learn in collaboration with other districts, not only in the US, but also from around the world. The League of Innovative Schools has been around for about 20 years now and has about 145 or so, 153 school districts in the country who come together. So the opportunities are one, convening in the fall to go to DC to lobby and advocate for public schools. And then there's a spring, and that one is only restricted for superintendents. And then there's a spring convening where we get opportunities to visit each other's school districts, to engage in collaborative conversations with other superintendents and school leaders, and visit classrooms, and engage with students, staff, and family members as well. The cost is $2,500, and superintendents are reimbursed for that and when they attend the convenings or the fall lobbying in DC.
Thank you. If there's any member of the public who would like to comment on this item, please use the raise hand feature.
None.
Okay, seeing none, board, do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the membership in the Digital Promise League of Innovative Schools.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Great, okay, board, any comments or thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this opportunity to partner with others, to think innovatively about how together we can support each other and do better, especially in terms of closing those gaps in literacy and math outcomes, and really honoring student voice and learning from other people. This is something that I'm excited about, our district in general, collaborating and partnering with others, being thought partners and working together for the common good. So thank you for bringing this to us. I also want to mention, I enjoyed that you had the world literacy, what was that?
World language.
World language, yeah, the importance of like multiculturalism and multilingualism, and the richness that it brings to us as humans. But also I feel like the responsibility we in education have also to prepare our students to be, world citizens in that way. And so I appreciate all these efforts for partnership. Thank you.
I just wanted to point out that I think this is a move in the right direction. I think about 2 years ago or a year ago, we did talk about giving everybody an innovation card in the district. I don't know how much that was actually used, but this is a long time goal of us in the board, that we represent the heart and the spirit of Silicon Valley with innovation and help our kids moving forward in many ways academically.
Thanks. Anyone else?
I have one more thing. I also really appreciate the aspect of building capacity within our organization as part of their mission here. I believe that's something that we really, really strongly need. because we have so many of the right foundations to really just thrive and do so well. And we have it here within our district. So this is just really exciting to have more structure around this partnership and to learn from each other. Thanks.
Yeah, I think it's exciting to have a nationwide network as well. I mean, that's a really unique opportunity. So we do things countywide and statewide, and this is just like this next level. So it's very exciting. So, okay, how about we vote? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, the motion passes. Thank you. And item C, item D. Right, C, okay, I skipped ahead on my document. Item C, approval to participate in the Pahara, is that right?
Correct.
Fellowship seminars, Dr. Crossley.
Yeah, so this is an opportunity that came to me prior to coming to Sunnyvale School District. Pahara Fellowship is an opportunity that brings together public school leaders, leaders in education with a successful and record of impacting students and families historically underserved by public education system, but also with a strong desire to take action towards future impact. So there's an opportunity to bring leaders from around the country for 3 week long seminars, is that correct? For 3 weeks throughout the year. And so I did the first week, I got 2 weeks coming up. Again, it's a national, there's no cost to Sunnyvale School District, but the network is also an opportunity for me to engage and build relationships with philanthropy and other school leaders from around the country, and just belong to that network. And there's a lot of potential to bring in some additional resources and supports to Sunnyvale School District. And it's a very, what I would say is that it's not easy for a public school superintendent or public school leader, because it does tend to be geared more towards philanthropy, nonprofits, and charter schools, just so that you're aware too.
Thank you. If there's any member of the public who'd like to comment on this, please use the raised hand feature now.
No.
Okay, seeing none, board, can we have a motion?
I move we approve participation in the Pahara Fellowship Seminar.
I second.
Okay, board, any discussion? Go ahead, trustee Schaefer, go ahead.
Let's have discussion. So congratulations on being accepted, first of all. It's quite a program. I really personally appreciate the focus on self, like on mindfulness and on grounding and identity, on having those dialogues with others. I appreciate that it's outside and it's not just, public school leaders, and calls on us to think in like a bigger way in terms of how can we make a difference. And also appreciate that there's this kind of the urgency and the call to action within this. I think it's a great move for us. I'm excited. I see this aligned with the League of Innovative Schools, that kind of mindset. What can we do? How can we work together? How can we get out of our silos and really support each other? So congratulations. I support this.
I agree with Peggy. Everything Peggy said, I agree. Anyone else? Any other comments? Okay, board, let's vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, it also unanimously passes. Thank you. We are on to item D, approval of the agreement with Orenda Education for equity baseline system study and leadership development.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier in my report, it's an opportunity to bring a partner to help us in looking at our systems and where we have opportunities for improvement, but also about building capacity amongst our site and district leaders in terms of data analysis and making sure that we have systems that support of equity and access for all of our students.
Okay, if there's any member of the public online for this item, please use the raised hand feature now.
No.
Seeing none, board, could we have a motion?
I move to approve the agreement with Orenda Education for equity baseline system study and leadership development.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, board, discussion floor is open.
Okay, I've seen Orenda for years in different conferences, and I'm very glad that we're actually getting to work with them. And I think this is a great opportunity for us who are talking about systematic change, and how to make positive change for our students from the system up. And I really love the presentation of Orenda that did in CLSPA. Was very inspiring, and I really hope that this is the beginning of great things happening.
Trustee Richard?
Sorry, I think, I still have this book, like I still have the Where Equity Lives book. I've heard Dr. Ebelar-Lassalle speak twice now. It's just so inspirational to know that there are people that have been thinking about how to change systems that have not served all of our students well in the past, and to know that we could be part of this is very exciting. I do want to address, it's a high cost, so I was wondering if Dr. Crossway, you can talk more about what we are expecting to see from them.
Yes, so they'll be coming in and doing a deep dive. They're gonna be, for example, setting up focus groups to engage in conversations with our staff, looking at our documents and resources and supports that we have. But separately, they'll also be doing things like shadowing students. And so this agreement is allowing us to have a deep dive into our school sites and then give us recommendations in terms of what are some of the immediate things that we need to address, but at the same time providing professional development for, again, site and district administrators in terms of what those system changes can be. An example of that is revisiting our master schedule, our course of study, and looking at where students are placed, regardless if they have a 504, an IEP, if they're English learners, and ensuring that they have equal access to a rigorous curriculum.
Michelle, did you want to say anything? You saw her speak before? No.
No, I mean, like, I was just gonna say ditto to what,
Yeah, same as
Isabel said.
Yeah, and I think when Nancy Newkirk and I were on the in the equity cohort for CSBA, like when I first got on the board, one of the things that they recommended then was that CSBA recommended was doing a baseline study of like what your systems are, and it was something that we had talked about, like let's get an inventory, let's see exactly how we're doing. So I think having someone from outside doing that is going to be very helpful. And then the additional support of like shadowing students and working with our teams is also like very exciting to help us redesign it. So because we need to make sure that we're serving our kids as best we can. So thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead. Yes.
So in our state of the district, yesterday, Dr. Crossway, you showed us some graphs that had the 4 lines that had different, our students that are broken into different ethnic groups. And this is something that we've seen Dr. Ebelar-Lassalle present. That's like the reason that she has the X there. What do you think we can, we know that that's already something that's within our system. Besides building leadership capacity, and identifying systems change, what could we do with this assessment here?
Well, this baseline study, what I want to also emphasize is that this is not coming out of our general fund. So we actually have additional funds coming through from the state. It's a professional development discretionary block grant that allows us to use these funds to support ELA, math, for example. But one of the things that we can anticipate through this report is, again, as President Watson shared, is having baseline data in terms of a starting point, acknowledging that we have some gaps, And then how do we then better use our capital, right, our physical and human capital to target those gaps, those disparities? And then think about how do we reimagine a public school system that wasn't designed for our kids? Because ultimately we're constrained with systems that are no longer adequate to support our students and families the way we demand or expect, and that our kids truly deserve as well. So when you're looking at the graphs that we shared yesterday at the State of the District, it's very aligned to what Orenda does in holding up that mirror to ourselves, right? And asking ourselves, what do we need to do differently? But we gotta start with those honest conversations about understanding that we have some disparities, we have some gaps, and then we have to talk to them. And the other thing is that a lot of people, we know about expectations and how critical they are to student outcomes, but it's easy to say that we have high expectations for all students, but what do our resources and what do our systems say? And so if you have incongruency there, in terms of I'm saying I have high expectations for all kids, but then I'm tracking or not giving all students equal access to rigorous curriculum, we're not congruent. And so that's one of the ways that we hold up the mirror, we ask ourselves, what do we need to do differently? And we gotta start, because the data doesn't lie, right? And so that is a starting point moving forward. But it's also about, school systems have a lot of data, but how do we interpret and tell a story and use data in a meaningful way that guides our practices and builds our capacity to do better, this urgency that needs to happen. Oftentimes we feel overwhelmed with data, but we have to be able to understand it and disaggregate it in a way that's meaningful, that helps us make an impact, and that's one of the other things that they'll be able to help us out with.
Okay, are we ready to vote?
No, sorry.
Great, no, they're nodding, but you wanna keep
No,
talking?
I wanna keep talking if that's it.
Okay, one more comment, thank you.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay, well, I just wanted to know, the integration, like the timeline, and also the integration with a strategic plan and our promise, like what can, it says through June 2026, so how do we see this feeding into, our
Yeah, so
priorities?
the study at the school sites, once approved, if approved, they would start this month. And coordinating the team and identifying the schools so that we can start scheduling those dates and visits and classroom observations, the shadowing stages and things like that. But separately, it's also this urgency to revisit our master schedule right away. So starting in November is beginning to work with our teaching and learning team here at the district office, as well as our middle schools in terms of what that master schedule looks like, looking at the course of study. And if we don't have a course of study, is developing a course of study moving forward so that by next semester, we have different course placement for students, regardless of labels and other data or test scores, et cetera. And then continuing that leadership development through the second semester as well. But the initial report is anticipated to be ready by January.
Exciting. No, I'm happy. Great information.
Yeah, January is great, because that still gives time for teams to utilize the data, right? For the initial report, excellent. Okay, are we ready to vote? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and it's unanimous, yes. All right, last one under approvals is item 11E, approval of agreement with Think Together for expanding learning program services.
Yeah, so this is, as I mentioned in my report earlier, this is an opportunity for us to partner with Think Together to engage the community and explore opportunities to expand the number of students that we're able to serve, and explore the sliding scale model as well so that we can support more families. Because I know the need is great, and again, this is not it's not adequate to cover everyone, but if we can learn from this and continue expanding potentially our programs for the following school year as well.
Thank you. If there's any member of the public who would like to speak on this item, please use the raised hand feature now.
No.
Okay, seeing none, board, do we have a motion?
I move to approve the agreement with Think Together for expanded learning program services.
A second.
Thank you. Discussion?
Okay.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so this agreement proposes 2 different sites initially. How soon would we expect that to get, I know they have to recruit and everything, how soon can we expect that to be in place?
Yeah, so we would anticipate by mid-November, end of November, because aside from recruiting and hiring and training staff, we want them to engage in the community to develop this potential sliding scale. It's similar to what they did already in Milpitas, and I know some of the other districts already have something similar, but again, we want to engage the community in terms of what that would look like. But the start date, January, that's the goal.
Go ahead. Trustee Perfetta?
I'm excited about this, thank you for bringing this to us. How do we know which sites, the first 2 that you mentioned? And then how it says the money part funded through general fund, does that mean it's not coming out from other sources, it's gonna be covered?
Yeah, so great questions. The funds that we have to support after school programs like ELOP, the Extended Learning Opportunities Program, those funds are already exhausted. We do not have any additional funds. And in terms of, so yes, out of the general fund, but not necessarily the whole amount, because we're looking at that sliding scale and what parents can also contribute to that, right? And then secondly, the schools, I know we have some wait lists out there, but I also know that some schools and some families have moved on and may not be on an official wait list because life moves on, goes on, and they have to figure it out too, right? So it's a TBD, to be determined, but I'm hearing from every school site that this is a great need. But I know that one of the schools, which happens to be the largest elementary school, Ellis, is also one that's most impacted as well. But we would have to come back and give you those updates as well.
Can you talk more about like the academic intervention opportunities that we see?
Yeah, so one of the things that we discuss with Y and with Think Together is how do we mirror what happens during the school day? How do we create systems where if 3rd grade is focusing on a particular area in math, that it's possible to reinforce it during the after school programs as well. And then I know that we have things like coding, culinary arts are really popular, I know the sports are really popular, but how do we also enhance the after school programs to make them fun and exciting, but also that are still engaging in areas like coding and other things like that, robotics, whatever it might be. And so one of the things that with Think Together is that they're wanting to do is explore what the needs or interests are of the students at that particular school, and then cater and develop a program based on those interests as well.
I just wanted to add that, I've had at least one trustee from the high school district reach out to me, and actually, I think over time, I've had discussions with 2 of them where they are really assuring me that it would be great to they really want their high school students not to have to be the childcare provider for the family. Like having the high school student be the person that is always caring for the younger child at home, really impacts their access to after school programs, tutorials, school activities, and even just friends. And so it's just how people make things work, but there was a plea to help with that because some of those students also, also could use some more additional support. Yeah. And then, I think that also I looked at Think Together's program online and it looks pretty amazing. And I talked to people who in Milpitas and someone from San Jose Unified, they were really happy with the partnership and the results. So I think it'd be great to try them, and I think it's there's probably a lot of details to work out along the way, but after a January break, probably especially if there's a good communication and that gives families time to plan, and after that break they could if we said to people like, we have a location, you know, if we build it, they will come, so, you know, I think it's just gonna be a lifeline for some families, so I'm very excited about it, and I've heard just so many times like, well, I don't qualify for KLAS, so why would I sign up for the wait list, because I could be bumped at any time, like, it makes no sense for me. And then last thing I'll say is that both with after-school care and preschool care, we've heard at different times from the County Office of Education that there just is a desert going on in general, especially post-pandemic, a lot of places closed. So I'm excited a little bit too that there's a sliding scale opportunity, because I want to continue serving the underserved families, but I would also like to see if we can, like, what if there is any revenue capture for us. I think that would be a win-win for everybody. So we don't have a lot of ways that we can generate revenue, and that would be a win. So yes.
Yeah, I think this is just gonna be, provide security for a lot of families who are really struggling with after-school care and wanting high-quality care, to have it on, at the sites, will be huge. That's wonderful. I'm wondering how we are going to evaluate, like how well it's going, whether we will expand, what's that look like throughout the rest of this year?
Yeah, so in discussing with Think Together, that was a topic of conversation, and so through surveys and getting feedback directly from parents, but also with students and the staff as well, but also with our feedback as well, right? So doing it in a comprehensive way, we're looking at it, getting student feedback, parent feedback, school sites, and from our office as well.
Any other comments? Are you ready to vote? Great, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Great, well, we are on to item 12, which is just future meetings and adjournment. Our next meeting will be Thursday, October 30th, 2025 at 6 p.m. It's also a special board meeting here at the district office. Thank you very much. It's 7:54 and we're done.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Maritza.
Good night.
Good night.